Okay, welcome to the debut edition of our weekly AI session. Pretty much, um, so this is going to be very interesting, and we're going to be starting with some few things and see how we can carry everybody along. So, as much as I can, excuse me, as much as I can, I will ensure that we take things a bit, we find resources that we need in order to make sense out of this whole thing. So my name is Noah Latoi, and I am the CEO and founder of Instinct Hub. And pretty much what we do at Instinct Hub is we help others to achieve success by giving out technology skills. One of the goals here is to first target those who are into product marketing. Just think about it as if you're in charge of making a business to succeed, there is no better time to leverage on technology, because at the end of the day, what really matters is delivering value to the customer and also ensuring that such value are felt and they're optimized in the best or in the best form that you can get it. So today, we're going to be looking at transforming sales and marketing with artificial intelligence through predictive modeling. Now, pretty much when we look at these things critically, oftentimes it is always very easy for us to get carried away when it comes to this technology thing, especially when we feel that um, the space is overcrowded with information. So my goal basically is to help in ensuring that things are understood and things are placed in such a way that they are going to be valuable to our audience. So just take this weekly series as a platform where I'm going to be sharing my thoughts with you. We're going to be teaching each other. And I also encourage that we get feedback so that we can come up with ideas, come up with content that can help us to achieve greater success. So, looking at this very well, it is important that we get a sense of who I am and my scope of experience so that we can pretty much understand how these things work. So, like I mentioned, my name is Noah Latte, and I am the founder and CEO of Instinct Hub. Instinct Hub was founded in 2020, and ever since then, we launched Instinct Hub actually 2020, even though the work had started the year before. Um, what we're trying to do is ensure that people have employable skill. And for that to happen, it means that there has to be platforms like ours that ensure that the quality um, content are chunked out on a regular basis to ensure that we respond to the latest technology. I've been in this for the past 1 decade now. I think I'm around 16 years into this technology space, and ever since then, I have learned multiple skills multiple skills, and I mean the skills span from design to coding, and even building awesome applications. So the goal here is to learn out the experiences that I've been able to gather for the past few years. So pretty much, there are lots of things an individual can do when it comes to partner with Instinct Hub, and we're going to talk about some of them as we move into the space. So when we look at the technology space, there are a couple of things that we need to understand. Or when we look at the marketing space, when we look at the marketing space, there are pretty much a lot of information that we can understand, considering the fact that understanding the user is becoming even more challenging, considering the fact that human these days struggle with time and attention. The attention span keep reducing, and it's very hard to tell whether a brand is doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing. But the cool thing is leveraging on artificial intelligence can actually help us to get more experience in the whole of these things and how all those things work. So like never before, uh, I know that the traditional way of marketing is chunking out money to make things happen. Chunking out money to either do sponsored ad, do some user research, uh, find people to collaborate with either through the print media or the digital media. The bottom line is at every point in time, there's always that need to leverage on the technology space. But like never before, when we look at the tech space, it is important for us to think of it as to how can I actually do this thing in a different way. So like what can you do differently? Considering the fact that every other person does the regular thing, write email marketing copies, send uh, bulk SMS, campaigns, and all of that. The question here is how can we move that even further? Like, how can we take it even further? How can we ensure that we have something that is even more? And that's what this conversation is about. Like, as marketers, as people who are interested in the success of the business, how do we ensure that we make sure that we do something that is even beyond the regular? And that's where artificial intelligence play a huge role. It gives us that leverage to be able to do things like never before. So, in other words, my goal here today is for us to demystify what it takes to be an astounding marketer, or what do you need to do in order to ensure that you're not just like the regular marketer out there, or you position your brand in such a way that it's very resourceful and ready to deliver based on expectations. So, how do you stand out as someone in the marketing space? That's what this conversation is about. So, as you join, you can feel free to raise your hand to ask questions, and let's have the conversation together. And also, part of the way you can participate in this session is to leave a comment. You can leave a comment if you are in the Google space. You can also, if you're in the Google space, you can also raise up your hand and ask question. And if you're streaming live from YouTube, you can, drop a comment, and we're going to go through the comments as well. The bottom line is, for those who are just joining, how can you stand out with the available technology that we have? Like, how can you add more things to what you already have rather than focusing on the norm? So, how do you leverage on the current technology? And I'll share just a couple of it. The first one is automation. How can you automate your process? It is very important that we know that we need more time to understand how some of these things work. We need more time to figure out how to really harness all these things together. So, for this to really make sense as a marketer, considering the fact that majority of the marketers that I know, they don't even handle just one account. A typical marketer would be handling maybe like maybe 3 to 5 accounts together. So how are you going to make sure that whatever you're doing is automated? And that's what this conversation too is about. Like, as someone who is interested in making sure that the business strive, you make revenues, how do you automate? How do you further automate the process? Okay, so and there are a lot of tools now that we use. I know when we hear the term AI, the first thing that comes to our mind is the like of the prompt engines like ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, AI. Yes, fantastic. Those things really work. Yes, because they are AI anyways. But the cool thing is that thinking about automation, it goes beyond even the tools. And I want us to really understand this. Thinking about automation generally, it goes beyond the tools. And what do I mean? You see, before you can actually achieve optimal results in anything you're trying to do, if you don't plan it properly, you may just be wasting time. And what do I mean, really? It is actually very easy for us as marketers or as content creators, to just quickly go to the machine or go to any of the prompt engine and ask questions. While that is good, I'm not faulting that in any way. All I am saying is that there's a better approach. And that approach actually really depends on your ability to just iron out what you need to do. So for those who are just joining again, I am just explaining how to be extraordinary when it comes to the marketing space and leveraging AI. We can't afford to continue doing things the way things are being done. And, and I'm also saying that it is important that we get the fact that the chat prompt is not just the best that we can do. And for us to stand out, we also need to find a way to ensure that we optimize the processes. And one way, in my experience, that I get to do that a lot, I also encourage my teams to do that as well, is through system and organization. So just imagine, as a marketer, if you have the list of all the processes of everything you try to do, like you write them out somewhere. It could be in a bullet point. It could be somewhere that you just make sure you write them somewhere, because that's the first level of optimization. because considering the fact that you would have to do those things for multiple accounts, you have to do those things for multiple businesses. For it just except for those who just manage their own businesses. But the truth is, even if you have to manage your business, you need to also be somewhere else to do so that you have to cater your business needs elsewhere. So it's important that you just write these things out. I remember part of the one of the my early days of creating videos, short videos for social media platforms. You know, it got to a point that I had to write the process, like from okay, what does it take to even come up with the content? You know, that's the first no, let's even say coming up with the idea. How do I generate ideas? And I'm also talking about this when AI wasn't a thing. So what are the processes of generating ideas, and what are the approximate hours that it will take? And you know, all the things I'm saying, I'm going to at the end of the before the end of the session, I'll let you know how all these things really add up when it comes to the space of artificial intelligence. So by the time you list all of these items together, the next question is, how do you ensure that the process that you've outlined, what are the things that are not supposed to be there? So oftentimes we waste a lot of time without we knowing, and it is just because we don't have the understanding of where we're wasting our time. It's just like somebody who invests his or her money on something, and at the end of the day, such person doesn't know how the money get blown out. You know, that's how the timing too is. So when we're talking about leveraging on machine, we need to understand exactly what we expect from the machine. And if you don't really know those processes, it will be very hard to optimize the process. So in just wrapping this very point up, when it comes to optimization and efficiency, you need to understand first the processes of what you need to achieve. And let me then say something. I know that for some of us, when we hear the term artificial intelligence, it's still very, we try to understand it, but still we don't. And sometimes we just let it go because everybody's saying it and it's something that is so close to us, so everybody's fine. The term artificial intelligence is process. You know, having a process in place that when you execute that process, it saves you a lot of time. And one example I usually give to make us understand what some of the things that AI has made easy to us is when we consider the way we search the internet in the past. We still do that anyways. So let's say, for instance, you want to search for the best, the best, maybe the top 10 banking institution in Ghana, for instance. Let's say, because if I say in Nigeria, you may already know because, you know, some of us on this webinar are Nigerians. But let's say, for instance, we want to understand the top 10 banking institution in Ghana. So the first thing you will do is, and I'm trying to then list the item now, is you go to Google and you try to, you know, search the prompt. You say, I need the top banking institution in Ghana. So what then happens? Google will then filter under the hood and try to give you some recommendation. But when you then try to further investigate, you have to scroll down, open some links, try to read. In fact, most of the times, you try to read the most latest article. So when you see an article that was written maybe 2016, you prefer to read the one that was written 2020, to the one that was written 2016, because you have to filter those things by yourself. Now, after you're done, you have to either bookmark some of the link, copy some of the items, and try to really understand how those things work together. Then you make your summary at the end of the day, either by getting the list and just cooking up something that you can work with. Now, event of artificial intelligence chat prompts like ChatGPT and Grok and the likes, we no longer have to do those process anymore. You don't have to be the one to really filter the list anymore. So what the AI is doing behind the hood is doing that same thing that you get to do by yourself. However, the AI now does it in a more perfect way because it has the ability to compare with billions of data. If you're to do the research that I say in Ghana, you'll be limited. Sometimes you can't even be tired so quick, and you just look for the data that is available to you and you move on. But researchers and scientists have trained models with billions of data input to ensure that those things come up with aggregate or a summary that best matches whatever prompt that you put into it. So that's basically what an AI is. It's about process and automation. In fact, the simple definition for AI is when you think of a process, is a process of automating. I don't want to use tautology here, but the point is you have a process plus you have process, then you have automation. So process plus automation gives you artificial intelligence. And I think another layer to it will be without human intervention in most cases. All right. So how can you do something when you're asleep? For some of us now, we have, of course, some marketing tools that allow us to automate some things even while we are not around. I just heard of an AI that was released recently. What the AI does pretty much is it can operate your system on your behalf. And what does that mean? It means that imagine when you wake up in the morning, you check your email, you check your social media, you send email, you send responses and all of that. What the AI does is similar to that. You can tell the AI at a particular point in time, hey, go into my system, and it's going to do all of those things that you will do if you were on the system. The downside of, or the good part of some of it is that, and I think it's also important that we understand that it's also a threat to marketers, because if I have a brand and there's an AI that can handle my social media platform for me, that could generate videos based on descriptions, that could post those videos at a particular time, that could respond to people's comments. The question I just ask myself right now, then what's going on there? So what are you going to do if you're a marketer that your role, your job regularly is to share posts, is to design and just share posts, design videos and just share? That's a threat, and it's very real. It's still in the prototype, and I think I'll just look for the video again and share on our platform so that we can all see what I'm talking about. So as marketers, it's important that we begin to think beyond the visuals, beyond the ads, beyond the customer engagement that we get to do. What more can you do? And to, push this conversation further, to really be effective in this, I had mentioned that efficiency is key. All right? Understanding your process is key. If you really want to leverage an AI, you need to know exactly what you are supposed to do. And when I mean know, in fact, the right word is not to use know. We know. But the question is, are they documented? It is during the process of documentation that you can take something out, add something again, and try to really optimize the process and see what the machine can handle for you, what you need to do by yourself to ensure that all of those things work together. For as many marketers that I know, they just do things offhand. The idea is there. They'll just keep doing that. Sometimes I realize that when we do things without checking our boxes, we just over around a circle. And that really affects us a lot. Now, the important part that I really want us to really pay attention to is the next point, which is you need to understand the data. Yes, I know that majority of the focus is about getting leads. Majority of the focus is about uh, either converting lead, transitioning them from being cold to warm and to hot, whatever stage of that process, lead process. It's also very important that you need to understand data. You need to understand beyond what it means to give the customer what they really need. So one of the crucial skill that is required now is the understanding of data. Because the truth is that there is no AI without quality data. There is no AI without quality data. I can't overemphasize that enough. When we talk about AI, you need data. So imagine with your marketing skills, you have the ability to read data beyond, to make predictions. To look at data and be able to make predictions. That is going to make a lot of sense. In fact, your approach to marketing will change because you are then dealing with fact rather than emotion. You're dealing with what the community is saying rather than just what you think. And that's what can really put you on the stage as a professional marketer. Because like I explained just right now, there are models out there now that can do the job of a marketer. Go on my system, browse, respond to emails, respond to my socials, create videos, and put all of these things together. In fact, it's not like all of these things doesn't exist before. So, the industry of the AI space, things has been, very scattered. You see, there's a model that what it does is animation. There's a model that what it does is text to speech, speech to text. There's a model that what it does is text to speech. There are just so many scattered things out there. There's a model that what it can do is identify an object. There's a model that can also compose soundtracks, music, and all of that. There's a model that can even compose music. What we are seeing this day is the collaboration between all of these models. How can we put all of these things together? That's what is happening. And that's why we really need to understand that it is very important that we see things beyond. We see things beyond just the visual. That's really, if there's anything I want you to remember today, is that as either an aspiring marketer or somebody who is already helping a brand, you need to see things beyond the visual. You need to understand the numbers. What are the numbers saying? Imagine part of your consultancy is talking to a brand and telling them to collate all the data that they have. And in return, you're able to give them value. In return, you're able to make them understand what they've done wrong and what they are doing right, what they need to double down on. That's another cash on the table. And the bottom line is there's no better time to start. The time is now, and there is need for us to really see how we can acquire the right skill to be able to do this. So I am not saying that all the skills that you know are not okay. No. What I am saying in essence is it is important that we try to stand out. If the AI industry are trying to harness everything together, you also need to harness your skills. You also need to bring things together. You're already very good at publicizing brands? What does it take you to understand the numbers? What does it take you to know that if you make this promotion, the business will lose money? That is going to take a lot of learning from other brands' position or behavior with all of those data. All right? So just think about it. And it doesn't really take so much to learn some of these things. My advice all the time is just approach this whole skill thing with exploration. Don't look at it as, it's not a do or die, technically. And don't look at it as something, just try to explore. It is during exploration that you then realize that, oh, there's something here. And one thing is that when it comes to technology, there is always room for everybody. The cool thing about the world of AI today, and I think I am going to try as much as I can to see if I can explain some aspects of it that we can focus on. Everything in the weekly is not about coding. Yes, coding is very important, but at the end of the day, there are a couple of ways that we can, leverage on artificial intelligence. And so many things. But my advice for marketers is just understand the numbers. And in ways to understand the number, that means that there will be need for you to pick up either, I think one of the nearest will be data analysis. Yes, data analysis, data science. You can just look up what they work. Because I'm just thinking, if I am a full-time marketer, where I'll be cashing out is really analyzing previous data and trying to make customer understand that, look, if you do this thing, this is what you will make. Because in the past, I have had a series of marketers who had promised me heaven and earth. In fact, those are one of the reasons why I had to study marketing. I had to read, I had to learn marketing because the business depends on it. And it was that the people that we had were just making mouth. Just imagine somebody coming to tell you, I'm going to make XYZ, I'm going to do XYZ and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, you ask yourself, how realistic is this? So when you then put them into the picture, they are unable to deliver. I know that majority of us in this call or in this webinar will be able to relate. And what makes this, it's not like you're lying. It is just that, see, whenever you find yourself dealing with human, it's more difficult than you think. The human you saw yesterday is different from the one that just woke up today. Our wishes, our wants, everything change in seconds. Few things can just, change the mood, and the requirements will change. And part of the way that we can make sense out of this is through consistent understanding of data. So I didn't plan to take much time in this series because it's a weekly thing. And like I said, this is a debut. And if you're just joining, my name is Noah Latoye, and I am an advocate for machine learning, artificial intelligence, and I'm really hoping to carry as much people as I can along, because the goal is the better we can harness all of these things together, the better for all of us. So at this point, I just want to see if some people have questions, and just question to ask. I know that as much as I would try to cover things that we can leverage on as marketers in this very edition, time may not really allow us, but I would really encourage us to find time to ask questions. So if you have questions and that you want me to just unravel for you, I think we can just do that. If you don't want to talk, you can leave a comment. You can leave a comment in the comment section, and we'll be willing to help with that. So now, one thing I would really want you to not forget is that in all of these things that I've said, you have to be extremely intentional. So it's not just a one-time thing. You have to be extremely intentional. It requires a lot of you have to be intentional, and you have to invest in it. So it's not I know marketers really understand this, so it's just not an ordinary thing. You have to be extremely willing to ensure that you have everything that is required to push this thing further. So, and one of the things that I would then finally advise is that it's important. Yes, let us ask questions. Don't assume, it can. And also, I want to use this opportunity to invite every one of us here to our AI workshop. Our AI workshop is coming up it's coming up in November, and if you really want to scale up, like I have explained, I think it's important that you find a way to tag along in the AI workshop, because at the end of the day, the workshop is mainly to encourage us to learn the skill that we need. In fact, there is one aspect of marketing that we are not paying attention to yet, and that is really understanding the importance of customer churn. Over time, what we've been focusing on a lot of time is how can I make more income? How can I get more sign-ups? How can I get more? There's this more mindset, which is good, 100%. But the bottom line is, oftentimes, have we really thought of the number of people leaving the business? Because, if we are struggling to get new people, what are we doing to retain the ones that we have? That's the question to ask. And that's the question we need to provide answer to. How do we ensure that we retain our customers? And considering the fact that businesses oftentimes get competition left, right, center. So how do we ensure that we retain our customers? The best way to do that is understanding, again, data, understanding the customer that is about to leave the business. And AI can help us do that. With AI, we can build a model that we can use to understand somebody that is about to leave the business. Just imagine, as a marketer, you have a tool in your hand that you can use to advance a business and tell the business, look, so number of customers in your database will leave your business in the next quarter. If you can do X, Y, Z, about so percent are likely not to leave again. Imagine if you forecast that for customers in multiple occasions. What you then realize is that in no time, you begin to make additional source of income. And you'll be known exceptionally for value that no one, because I've not seen any marketer actually that does that. I've not seen. Every marketer that have reached out to me on email, on LinkedIn, every lead, I'll get you lead. For some who go at it, I've never really heard a customer Or, I mean, I've never really heard a marketer that comes to me and say, hey, Mr. Noah, can I look into the history of Instinct Hub and I'm able to tell you the customer that is about to leave? This is one untapped area that we're advocating that marketers can leverage on, or those who really want to do that for their business can leverage on. And this can be deployed in any dimension, that you use it for a particular. Coming up on the 21st to 23rd November 2024 at the Zone Bagada. So we have two major aspects of the program. You can either participate virtually or you can participate in person. Whatever works for you is fine. The most important thing is taking yourself beyond the regular marketing, which is seeking new customer, to understanding the customer that are about to leave the business and take good care of them before they do that. And that's what this workshop is going to be about. The cool thing about it is that we're going to be unveiling some of the technicality that is required. Part of the things that will be unraveled in the 3-day workshop, of course, the 3-day from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. is going to be a very, very hands-on practical session. And with that, we're going to be having our instructor talk to us on how you can get very acquainted to Python programming language. And let me even break this to you. If you can understand how to use Python programming language, the sky is your limit. For some of us, we may even leave marketing and actually solve real problem. But the goal is, right now, the goal is that you're able to scale beyond just an average person who is already currently doing what the machine can take away. And this is really very important, and I want us to understand it. So to really know more about the program, just visit ai.instincthub.com, ai.instincthub.com, to check more details about the program. And also, you can either chat us up, just reach out to any of my team, or reach out to us on our social media platform, send us a DM, and we're ready to, take this conversation further. The importance of technology cannot be overemphasized. And it's important that we take these things very, very, very serious. We can afford not to get ready for what we don't even know right now. So I am advocating that we take this very serious and find a way that we can harness all of these things together. So pretty much that's how we're going to wrap it up on this one. If there are questions, I think quickly, just in the next 1 or 2 minutes, I can address 1 or 2 questions. Then we can call it a day. I'll see you again next week with another astounding program, topic that we can address. One thing you can be rest assured is that over the past 16 years, I've gathered a lot of technical skills that can be helpful to you. I've worked with banks, I've worked with individuals, I've worked with NGOs, I've worked with universities to ensure that they have the technology they need to meet their goals. So you're not talking to somebody that doesn't practice it. You're talking to someone who actually practice what we are saying. And I really look forward to helping you in whatever way that is required. So I'm not seeing any hand on the people on the Zoom. So I would assume that we are all good on this one. But don't forget that you can also drop comments. You can leave comments. You can ask questions whenever you have any question. And if there's anything you want us to also talk about when it comes to the world of technology and AI, majorly you can also drop a comment and reach out to us as well. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening, and that's how we wrap it up on this one. Until next time, I'll see you guys on Thursday by 12 noon. Bye, guys.